The day that I'm hopefully managing to post this video, it is International Women's Day, the 8th of March. And, well, at the moment, just as a woman in the world, but also a woman in the corporate world, being a woman with a lot of ambition, goals, feelings, and a love of dressing up a bit, but also not. This day always hits home. Not just because of who I am, but also because of things I've been through, things that have happened to me, things I've seen. And I do think that also resonates with a lot of other women, especially. Of course, I'm not saying this is not relevant to men as well, but as it is International Women's Day, I am going to focus on the women. So, for those of you who do not know, I am an auditor, and for my master's thesis, I wrote about the topic of why so few women see the top of their auditing careers and what can be done about it. And I have to say that I'm always both depressed and uplifted by what I find, like reading up on and studying these topics, only because you see how prevalent this is, how it is just such a big part of our culture, our world, but you also get a sense of how easy it would be to fix it if we all just tried. Yeah, so to help that, and because I am too deep into the feelings of it to be able to explain and tell you all about this topic in a way that I think will come across the correct way and the way that I want it presented. I am giving you the resources to listen to voices that are better at conveying this information right now than I feel that I am. And that, of course, is down to my favorite medium, books. So, woo. I have gotten out a collection of books that I find relevant for this topic. We will be going through just a selection. I have read a lot more, and there's extremely much that I haven't read, so please, if you have any recommendations, please do leave them in the comments below. I would really, really appreciate that. But today I want to just introduce you to a sample of the ones that I have read and the ones that I am planning on reading this month and, well, in general. I don't have all of them here because there are some books that I have read on Audible or on audiobooks in general. I will show you the ones that I have, and I will put up a picture of the ones that I don't have a physical copy of. So hopefully you will find a new book to read. But that is what we're here for. First off, hi and welcome to a new video here with me. I'm Kine Lovise for those who do not know me, and welcome back to all of you that have seen me before. If you haven't been following on my other social media, you might not know that I moved. So in the last video I shared, you can see my comments about foreshadowing, because I did not know that I had to move when I filmed that video, because I got that message just, I think the last Monday of 2025, and I moved a bit over a month ago, so that happened very quickly. I do have videos that are coming out, but with all of the overtime happening at work right now, it is taking a lot of time to manage to be able to actually edit them as well. So I have all of the footage, but I haven't been able to put it together, and I had to get this video up first because of course it is the 8th of March and I need to do something, and I don't have the capacity, the time, or the money to do much of anything else right now. I feel like sharing some resources so everyone can better understand the situation and what we're dealing with. And also all of the things we don't know, like we don't think about, all of the unconscious biases that we grapple with every day that are prevalent for me as well. I want to do this. So there are other videos to look forward to as well, but there is a new setup, so I felt like I had to comment on it if you have been watching me before. But if you want to keep more up to date on a day-to-day basis, you can follow me on my other social media that will be all linked below. You can usually just search for Kine Lovise and you will find me. Back to what we're here for. So let me just take a drink and we'll get started. So I hope you're now ready. There should be something in here for everyone. And I will also be having a link to my Goodreads shelf list page for with all of the books that I have read on the topic or that I have shelved I want to read. But the link to that will be in the description below if you want anything else. All of the books that I mentioned here will also be individually linked to their respective Goodreads page. A link to that will be below. I'll start off with books to read to know more about the stats, or the statistics, and what is happening to girls and women around the world and also here. But one of the first books I want to bring forth is the last book I finished on the topic, is The Moment of Lift, How Empowering Women Changes the World by Melinda French Gates. I'll put a picture of it here, so I also have some notes because there's no way I'm remembering all of this, unfortunately. But this book very much goes into the impact, making sure women and girls around the world feel empowered to take action and has the right and help to do so, how that can affect everyone in a good way. I did read this on Audible, but I have an excerpt of the book. So, for the last 20 years, Melinda Gates has been on a mission to find solutions for people with the most urgent needs, wherever they live. Throughout this journey, one thing has become increasingly clear to her. If you want to lift a society up, you need to stop keeping women down. In this moving and compelling book, Melinda shares lessons she's learned from the inspiring people she's met during her work and travels around the world. As she writes in the introduction, that is why I had to write this book, to share the stories of people who have given focus and urgency to my life. I want all of us to see ways we can lift women up where we live. Melinda's unforgettable narrative is backed by startling data as she presents the issues that most need our attention, from child marriage to lack of access to contraceptives to gender inequality in the workplace. And for the first time, she writes about her personal life and the road to equality in her own marriage. Throughout, she shows how there has never been more opportunity to change the world and ourselves. Writing with emotion, candor, and grace, she introduces us to remarkable women and shows the power of connecting with one another. When we lift others up, they lift us up too. So this is about how we all lose when we push people down without listening to their ideas and knowing that we're just not wanting to listen to half of the population without knowing if they have anything of value to share that could help all of us, not just women, but all of us. She also shows examples of how that has been done around the world. So, very inspiring book, and I really, really do recommend. Next, we have Invisible Women, Exposing Data Bias in a World Designed for Men by Carolyn Creed Perez. This is a book that should definitely be read by more people of all genders, especially hearing all the discussions on why women take up a higher percentage of sick leave, for example, as this book goes into many of the factors playing into that. Just like how medicine, even the ones that are designed for female specific diseases, are not tested on women because women are such difficult trial bases. Neither are security systems in cars. Well, I think that one started last year, and the same for like data equipment in the office, which are not designed for the female autonomy. That the data mouse will always be a bit too big. Yeah, I'll read the excerpt. So, imagine a world where your phone is too big for your hand. Your doctor describes a drug that is wrong for your body, and in a car accident, you are 47% more likely to be seriously injured, even though you're not the reason for the crash. If any of this sounds familiar, chances are that you're a woman. From government policy and medical research to technology, workplaces, and the media, Invisible Women reveals how, in a world largely built for and by men, we are systemically ignoring half the population, often with disastrous consequences. Caroline Criado Perez brings together for the first time an impressive range of case studies, stories, and new research from across the world that illustrate the hidden ways in which women are forgotten and the profound impact this has on all of us. I cried. I was so mad. I recommend this book with all of my heart. So I think this book is from 2019, so it's not that old. I read it back in 2024. Definitely very, very relevant. Big recommendation. Next, I have The Authority Gap, Why Women Are Still Taken Less Seriously Than Men, and What We Can Do About It, by Mary Ann Sieghart. One of the things I wrote about in my master's thesis is the topic and results of unconscious biases. And although I am trying to think that most of us have worked on and feel we're free from the first kind of biases, like judging women as lesser than or not as worthy as men in general, there are also like these unconscious biases that we are struggling to eradicate because they're very much being pushed upon us from our culture, society, from everything we see and learn and read. And these are hindering women's opportunities daily. Even I, who are so invested into this topic and are really trying my best to develop myself and others, fall prey to these unconscious biases all too often. And this topic is one that I feel this book takes on beautifully. I'll just read the excerpt. Imagine living in a world in which you were routinely patronized by women. Imagine having your views ignored or your expertise frequently challenged by them. Imagine trying to speak up in a meeting only to be talked over by female colleagues. Imagine people always addressing the woman you're with before you. Now imagine a world in which the reverse of this is true. The Authority Gap provides a startling perspective on the unseen bias at work in our everyday lives. To reveal the scale of the gap that still persists between men and women, marshalling a wealth of data with precision and insight, and including interviews with pioneering women such as Baroness Hale, Mary Beard, and Janet Yellen. This is a fresh feminist take on how to address and counteract systemic sexism in ways that benefit us all. This book will make you angry, it will make you shake your head in disbelief, but it will also inspire you, as it contains the key to addressing these problems, mapping out the measures we can take as individuals and as society, both to counteract them and to see them for what they are, an irrational but tenacious product of our social conditioning. There's not many other relevant words to describe this book. Like, this and Invisible Women does expose so much of the biases, most of them unconscious, but also the conscious ones. Yeah, it tells such a broad story of how the world just is not wanting to be made and remade for women to fit in. Do recommend. Next, I have some of the books from Laura Bates. I want to recommend all of them, like all of her nonfiction books, and I'm pointing out that it's the nonfiction books just because I haven't read any of her fiction fantasy books. I do want to, but focusing on the nonfiction, I'll just take some of the ones that I've read first and go from there. So first, we have Everyday Sexism. This book is talking about the hashtag trend, big thing that went around, I think it was like 2012, 2013, with the hashtag Everyday Sexism, where everyone was sharing the stories. A lot of it was probably mostly on Twitter, but also everywhere. Just sharing their stories of things that are happening, have happened. This book is Laura Bates just putting all of that together. She was the one that started the hashtag after herself being sexually harassed on a London public transport. She started the project just to collect stories for a piece she was writing on the issue at that time. Not even she was remotely ready or prepared for the sheer amount of stories that were shared during this time. This isn't a book researching the topic. This isn't doing surveys. This isn't research. This is stories. These are people. These are real stories sent in from people who not always understand that or understood that what happened to them was wrong until the hashtag started. Seeing other people telling how it happened to them and getting the feeling of how unfair it sounds when it's happening to someone else. So a lot of people just suddenly understood that they had been robbed of something so personal and have lost the sense that that isn't normal or that isn't deserved or that isn't how the world is supposed to be. So yeah, most people can relate, or at least women relate to at least too many stories in this book. For some, as I said, reading these stories can also be the first time understanding that what happened to them wasn't right. There isn't much else to say. This doesn't have like really an excerpt because it is built up of so many stories. It does read like an easy read, textualized, but it is a hard read mentally. So, but really, really do recommend. I've also read her Fix the System, Not the Women. This too is marvelous. The title does summarize it quite well. We do tend to blame women for not making it in a world not designed for them or by them. Too often, I'll read the excerpt so. Too often we blame women for walking home alone at night, for not demanding a seat at the table, for not overcoming the odds that are stacked against them. This distracts us from the real problem, the failings and biases of a society that was not built for women. In this explosive book, feminist writer and activist Laura Bates exposes the systemic prejudice at the heart of 5 of our key institutions: education, politics, media, policing, criminal justice. Combining stories with shocking evidence, Fix the System, Not the Women is a blazing examination of injustice and a rallying cry for reform. I have also read Misogynation. I don't have the physical copy of that, but this goes more significantly into the true scale of sexism, focusing on the UK where she's from, lives. So I have an excerpt from that as well. Drawing attention to both hidden and blatant sexist acts and attitudes, Laura has exposed the startling truth behind misogyny in our society. Systemic, ingrained, and ignored, from Weinstein to Westminster, a torrent of allegations of sexual harassment and assault have left us reeling. 100 years since some women were first given the right to vote, we're still struggling to get to grips with the true extent of gender inequality that continues to flourish in our society. In this collection of essays, originally published in The Guardian, Laura Bates uncovers the sexism that exists in our relationships, our workplaces, our media, in our homes and our streets, but which is also firmly rooted in our lifelong assumption and in the actions and attitudes we explain away, defend and accept. Often dismissed as one-offs, veiled as banter, or described as isolated incidents, misogynation joins the dots to reveal the true scale of discrimination and prejudice women face. A bold, witty, and incisive analysis of current events, misogynation makes a passionate argument for stepping back, opening our eyes, and allowing ourselves to see the bigger picture. So those are the books that gives insight into the world women and girls live in, experience. I think you have to start off with the data of how is the world before it is easier to try and do something. Like, how can you do something to make it better, at least for yourselves, and hopefully also like the people closest to you. Over to more enjoyable things. Books to feel empowered, to take up space, to get what you deserve, to go after your dreams, to set the boundaries you need. I do have a couple of options for that as well. So first off, we have Dare to Lead by Brené Brown. Also a book that I haven't got a physical copy of. I read this on Audible last summer, I think. So this is also very much evidence research based. Brené Brown spent the past 2 decades researching the emotions that give meaning to our lives. And over the past 7 years, she found that leaders in organizations ranging from small entrepreneurial startups and family-owned businesses to nonprofits, civic organizations, and Fortune 50 companies are asking all the same question. How do you cultivate braver, more daring leaders? And how do you embed the value of courage in your culture? This is all from the excerpt. So, Dare to Lead answers these questions and gives us actionable strategies and real examples from her now research-based courage-building programs. Brené writes, one of the most important findings of my career is that courage can be taught, developed, and measured. Courage is a collection of 4 skill sets supported by 28 behaviors, and all it requires is a commitment to doing bold work, having tough conversations, and showing up with our whole hearts. Easy? No. Choosing courage over comfort is not easy. Worth it? Always. We want to be brave with our lives and work. It's why we're here. So that's how she starts out the book. So she's a research professor at the University of Houston and also has one of the top 5 most viewed TED Talks on the power of vulnerability with over 60 million views. I know she has more books as well that I have on my list of want to reads. It's always nice, just someone who knows the facts, that just gives me the strength to believe that we can't do this. We just, like, there are definitely things in our way, but we can do what we can do, at least, to try and make it better. Next, I have a special book. It is Unbound, A Woman's Guide to Power by Kine Lovise. This is the most perfect book for taking back your power, in expressing yourself, communicating what you actually need or want, setting boundaries, keeping up with them. So do not be scared by the earlier profession of the author, who has been both a Taoist nun and a dominatrix. Two things she for sure knows is how to keep grounded, to land in yourself, finding your peace, as well as exuding power and confidence. So, she says it best. So stop being a servant of the life you're living and become a creator of the world you want. Why do so many women feel they're too much yet not enough? How can you feel good and mad yet reluctant to speak up? What causes women to freeze at critical moments? Kine Lovise teaches power to women, and her answers to these questions are electrifying. Based on insights from her experiences as a dominatrix, her training to become a Taoist nun, and the countless women she has taught, Unbound offers precise, practical instructions in how to stand in your power, find your voice, and use it well. Part manual, part manifesto, it will help you cut through layers of self-censoring and self-doubt to go after what you truly want and live your wildest, best, and most satisfying life. So this is a book I would want to reread once a year. I haven't been able to, but that is the goal, just to remind myself of the principles in this book. So if you feel like people are walking all over you, like you're trying to set boundaries but you do not know how to make people respect them to give you the space that you require, or you want something and you don't know how to ask for it, or you feel unsure if that's what you really want, she gives it to you straight. This is a great book. And I think that is all of the ones that I've read that I want to give you in this video, because it's already starting to be a bit long. But I also have 3 books that are on my to-read list at the moment. First, we have The New Age of Sexism, How AI and Emerging Technologies and Reinventing Misogyny by Laura Bates. So she's the one that had a lot of the other ones. She has a new book, or I think it came out last year, that I haven't read yet. So I have bought that on Audible and will start to listen to that now. So that reads, Misogyny is being hardwired into our future, and can we stop it? We like to believe we're moving closer to equality, riding the wave of technological progress into a brighter, fairer future. But beneath the glossy surface of innovation lies a chilling truth. New technologies are not just failing to solve age-old inequalities, they're deepening them. In The New Age of Sexism, acclaimed author and activist Laura Bates exposes how misogyny is being coded into the very fabric of our future. From the biases embedded in artificial intelligence to the alarming rise of sex robots and the toxic dynamics of the metaverse, Bates takes readers on a shocking journey into a world where technology is weaponized against women. This isn't a dystopian warning about what might happen, it's a harrowing account of what's happening now and the dangers we face if we don't act. With clarity and urgency, Bates reveals how these advancements are dragging society backwards, reinforcing harmful stereotypes and jeopardizing decades of progress in the fight for gender equality. Eye-opening and empowering, The New Age of Sexism is a rallying cry for awareness and action in a world where the battle for equality has entered a dangerous new frontier. I'm not looking forward to getting the data in that book, but it is needed. So that is that. I have also started a new book today that is The Fix: How to Overcome the Invisible Barriers That Are Holding Women Back at the Work by Michelle King. This is a book I was recommended by someone at work. I think she recommended it to me twice, and I bought it and I started reading it this morning, and I can't wait. This is, of course, a lot of the same topic as Fix the System, not the women. The excerpts say, "For years, we've been telling women that in order to succeed at work, they need to change themselves first. Lean in, negotiate like a man, don't be too polite or you'll never succeed like a man." But after 16 years working with major Fortune 500 companies as a leading gender equality expert, Michelle P. King has realized one simple truth. The tired advice of fixing women doesn't fix anything. The reality is that workplaces are gendered. They are designed by men for men. Based on King's research and exclusive interviews with major companies and thought leaders, The Fix reveals the hidden sexism and invisible barriers holding women back at work every day. Women are passed over for promotions, paid less, and pushed out of the workforce. Not because they aren't good enough, but because they don't fit the masculine ideal. In this fascinating and empowering book, King reveals the barriers that inhibit women and men at all stages of their careers and provides readers with a clear set of takeaways to help them thrive as they fight for change from within. I am very much looking forward to reading this book, and I have only read the introduction and I already love it. Another one I'm really excited for that I have recently bought and not read yet is Thriving in a Male-Dominated Workplace, which is a Harvard Business Review book. So this is from a Harvard Business Review Women at Work series, spotlighting the real challenges and opportunities women experience throughout their careers. It is a book on how to find success in a workplace dominated by men. Sexism, self-doubt, invisibility. When you're one of the only women in your workplace, it can be difficult to gain your footing. Organizations need to change, but in the meantime, women can find success in these settings and even flourish in them. Thriving in a male-dominated workplace provides the advice you need to ensure your professional growth in roles and industries that have traditionally been filled by and controlled by men. From connecting with the right people to growing your confidence to fighting back against bias, you'll be able to establish your credibility and be seen by your colleagues as the expert you are. This book will inspire you to find support across the organization, overcome imposter syndrome and self-doubt, speak up for yourself and your accomplishments, and build a better culture once and for all. Very much looking forward to this as well. So I have a lot of books that I really, really want to read. I have the last book by Laura Bates as well. I haven't read it because I haven't had the mental capacity that I think that the book will take. So it is the book Men Who Hate Women, which is about the extremism nobody's talking about. So she lifts the lid on the communities of men who hate women, going undercover both on and offline to explore the ideology and impact they have worldwide. And yeah, I know that this book will take a part of me just because I have seen it. I have had discussions about this, and you see it in comments spaces all over the internet and with some of the leading figures as well. I know I need to read it, but I haven't been able to yet. I would recommend you do. So starting in the murkiest depths of the internet, Laura observes these groups in action, from incels and pickup artists to men's rights activists and men going their own way, tracing how effectively their ideas have been smuggled into our collective consciousness via trolls, the media, celebrities, and politicians, to emerge unchecked in our schools, workplaces, and corridors of power, posing deadly harm to both men and women. battery ran out. This wasn't very well planned because my other battery was also dead. So it's been a while. I think I was almost done at least talking about the book that I finished with, which was this. It's always a bit of unpleasantness trying to start a video again after being cut off so unexpectedly, because I am done. Like those are my recommendations and the books that I'm currently wanting to read. I think that's it. If you want to keep up with what I am reading, you can follow me on Goodreads and we can cheer for each other's reading goals. I have set mine to just 30 this year, but it's because I'm focusing on the amount of new books that I want to read, because I am a notorious rereader. All the books and so little time. I think that's it. So if you have read any of them yourself, what's your opinion on any of them? Are there any books you do recommend yourself? Like, if we could fill the comment section with recommendations for other books as well. If you would recommend any of these more than another, please feel free to share. Not share, but yeah. But I think that's it for now. Hope you're having a great 8th of March, International Women's Day. I myself am gonna see some talks, and I think I want to actually take part in the march and watch the political talks as well. I haven't done that before, mostly because it has been on a weekday and I haven't been able to attend. This year I'm going to the ones that are here in Hamar. Yeah, maybe we saw each other there, but there are still so much to fight for, and just breaching the knowledge gap so that we are at least aware of not being alone, and that it's not fair, and that the problem isn't you as a woman. I think that is my main point, and if you want to know more, please do read one of these and tell me what you think about them if you do read them. You can also ask and I can send you my thesis, but it is in Norwegian, unfortunately. So for those of you who do not know Norwegian, that can be a problem. And I wrote an article last year that is also posted, and I think it's still free to read as well, so that will also be posted down below. So there are so much. You can see that I am thoroughly deep into this topic. But I think that's it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you are able to subscribe to my channel, that would be deeply appreciated. And then you'll also be notified when I'm posting every time, because I have no set schedule at this point. I do also have a blog where I might be posting more in-depth text things, which is also linked down below. It's just kinelovise.com. My other social media is also linked below, and I hope to talk to you soon. So look out for the moving vlogs that hopefully also are coming up soon, but it is busy season deluxe, so we'll see. Have a great day, and talk to you next time. Bye!